Hi guys, in this video I want to show you why we might be about to see a decent sized correction in the Bitcoin price and how a potential fractal is playing out right in front of our eyes right now. And you want to know about this because it could dramatically affect your portfolio even in just the next 1 to 2 weeks. So if you want to see what that is, then keep watching this video. My name is Michael and I use my skills and experience as an ex-developer, tech entrepreneur, investor and trader to bring you non-hyped information on how to generate profit and create wealth from cryptocurrency investing. So if you're keen to learn how to benefit from what I believe is the greatest investment opportunity of our lifetime, then like my video, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to know when I put out a new video. So I'm going to jump straight into the chart so I can show you what I'm seeing at the moment. So this is the Bitcoin USDT chart on Binance. And you can see I've got a whole bunch of my trend lines here, my support and resistance lines, with the major ones being the bolded lines. Now, what I mean in terms of a fractal playing out, so I do have this ready to show you. So just follow me as I plot this. Now this doesn't follow an Elliott wave pattern or anything like that. It's just a fractal that I'm seeing developing at the moment. So if we join these up, 1, 2, 3, just the peaks and troughs through here, to 5 to 6 to 7. So we get a 7 wave to the top. We have then another 2 waves which make a lower low and a lower high, and then we had that really big correction down to here. So this is the fractal that I'm seeing playing out again at the moment. So let's have a look at it. Let's plot it on the current scale, okay, or at least so this is the current fractal that I'm going to show you that I believe might be playing out at the moment. Now I'm also going to put a Fibonacci time sequence over this from the start of the pattern through to the end of the Fibonacci sequence ending in 1, basically at this 9 point at where we had the last peak before we had the drop. Okay, now let's plot out where I see this happening again now. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 top, and then potentially now we could be having a drop down a little bit further to 8 to a lower so a lower low here, a lower high here, and potentially drop down here. Now it's not going to be as dramatic as a drop back here, but you know that is still going to make a dent to some portfolios, and you know we don't know where it's going to necessarily go from here. This would roughly take us through to kind of maybe 3rd or 4th week in September. So we could maybe see a further correction here before we see what I believe is still coming, the next leg in the bull run. So if I put a Fibonacci time sequence over this as well, you can see that it matches up very closely. Okay, so let's have a look. So I'm just going to grab a drawing tool. So we had the first peak over here and then the first Fibonacci at 23.6, roughly about halfway through there. And if we have a look here, okay, let me actually see if I can zoom in a little bit here and make this a bit easier to see. Okay, so we had about halfway through here was the first fib. There's about halfway through there is the first one there. Second one was roughly about halfway through the up move. There it is there, halfway through the up move. Third one was kind of just over halfway through 3 and 4, just over halfway through 3 and 4. Then the next one is just after the peak of 5, just after the peak of 5. Then just before 7, just before 7. And then here we lined it up with basically the 9th peak, okay, or the peak of the 9th wave. You can see how closely that's actually playing out. Now, if it does actually play out like this, then we would see, these are approximately my points here. So the 8th wave went, roughly halfway between 4 and 6. So I'm seeing that probably around 44, 45K here. And then this peak here was kind of roughly just above the third peak, which I've plotted in here now at the moment. So that could be, back up to 49.5 or something like that. Okay, now the 10th wave was more or less around 2, maybe a little bit higher. So I've got that one down to here, which is showing a retracement back down to 38,000. Okay, now it's not huge, but it is going to make an impact. on people's portfolios. And again, you know, does that mean this is a dead cat band, so we're going into a bear run? Look, I don't think so. I'm still bullish on the whole crypto space. I still think there's enormous amounts of adoption that is coming, but this is just potentially something that I see playing out at the moment. Now, there's a couple other interesting things that is on this chart as well. Okay, so back here when the price was shooting up here, okay, price was making higher highs. But if you have a look at the RSI, it was actually trending down for quite a while. So there were signs here. This bearish divergence. I mean, even if you just looked at it up until about here, you know, there were signs that there was this correction coming, definitely. Now, we're seeing something similar at the moment. You can see the price has been making new highs here. And if we have a look, we've also got bearish divergence on the daily as well. It's pretty strong because on the daily. Also, the on-balance volume is maybe making just a lower high. I mean, it's pretty flat there at the moment, but it's definitely not trending up as the price is trending up. Okay, so that's another thing that's indicating here that we might be due for a correction. The last thing I noticed, if we just draw a Fibonacci from the top of here right down to the bottom of this peak here, okay, and we'll see that if we zoom in, we'll see that the golden ratio, which is between 61.8 and 65, is basically in this range here. And we've seen that this we've poked that. In fact, the top of that candle was 51,000. At least on Binance, it might have gone higher elsewhere. So that's pretty much right on this level. So that's another reason why I think we're going to see a retracement at this stage. Now, is this guaranteed to play out? No, absolutely, it's not guaranteed to play out. If bulls are able to take the price above, you know, 51, 52, it could invalidate it, but it could also be a false breakout, and down we go. So I will be watching to see what happens if we do get up here. If we were to say bounce and make a higher low instead of a lower low, then that might invalidate a little bit. We've really got to get above this 51k mark and use that as support before this is invalidated for me. So there's definitely a possibility this is going to play out. Also, September's not traditionally been a very good year for Bitcoin. I think maybe 2 years out of its history, it's actually been positive. So, you know, little things like that are kind of lining up. Now, what am I doing to prepare for this? Well, up until I noticed this last night and today, I've been just repositioning my portfolio. So I have a bit more stablecoin now. I've converted some of the profits and some of my portfolio to stablecoin just in case this does play out and we can, you know, have some better entries into some projects down here. So that's the way that I'm preparing for it. You know, I'm not selling out of my whole portfolio. I'm not even selling out of half of my liquid portfolio. My long-term holdings in Bitcoin, ETH, and the other projects I'm just leaving. It's more my portfolio that I actively trade. I'm moving a certain percentage across, or a higher percentage across to USDT in case this does play out. And if it does, then, you know, potentially that might become a little bit of a buying opportunity. But I'm probably going to be holding it now just to see if this plays out. Because if this plays out, then obviously there'll be a much better place to be buying in down here. Now, if it doesn't play out, and, you know, we see something like this and it invalidates it, then I'm going to know at this point here for me, if it does retest and start to turn, then that's going to be the point that I put my money back in. And yes, I might lose some profits on, you know, what I've just cashed out, but it's more important to me that I'm prepared for this happening rather than, you know, catching extra profits if it doesn't. So that's what I'm saying at the moment. Hopefully that's been a little bit useful for you to position your portfolio accordingly in case this probability does play out. And yeah, thanks for watching. And look, if you do value the video and you like what I have presented here, just give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a comment just to let me know if you found this useful and if you'd like me to continue doing videos like this, and not just the kind of fundamental project review ones that I normally do. All right, thanks guys, and catch you next time.